Hi, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. This is my coffee, which I have in front of me. I shall need this today to keep me caffeinated. I'm here and I'm delighted to be joined by Catrina Clulow. Catrina is a marketing executive and fractional marketing uh, director for small businesses, medium-sized businesses. She's got over 30 years of experience in international technology marketing. So I'm really looking forward to having a discussion with Catrina about how she helps those small and medium-sized businesses really make a difference and understand how to use their marketing budget effectively. So welcome to the podcast, Catrina.
Many thanks, Stuart. Glad to be here.
Terrific. So Catrina, let's start by the obvious question. So who is the sort of ideal customer that you are trying to help with your marketing services?
Yeah, my ideal client tends to be startup, small technology businesses. That's where I've got my 30 years experience. They're typically between seed and Series A, and they are typically a tech founder led. So on the engineering side, they're very well defined. But on the
Mm,
more commercial side, they find they have an issue really defining who their ideal client is.
mm,
They don't have the budget for full-time CMO. They may be flirting with the idea of a fractional CMO. But at the time I start to work with them, they typically start off with a target market of everyone or all
mm.
B2B businesses. And that is just not going to give them the knowledge of the hurdles that their clients face. And they won't know where to place the messages or the type of language to use. So it's those companies that are just starting out with their marketing journey.
It's a common problem, isn't it, Katrina? That too many people think they can be all things to all people, and yet
Yeah,
effectively what they're doing is they're diluting their marketing budget by throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that some of it sticks. And
yeah,
I know from experience that spaghetti, unless it's properly cooked, doesn't stick at all, or you end up in a situation where it's just a mess and you can't actually work out what you're supposed to be doing. So it is a problem to try
yeah,
and market to everybody, which too few people recognize as a problem and think of it as
yeah,
a strength.
yeah, yeah. And as you say, it just dilutes everything. They just really need to get into the nitty gritty of who they're targeting. And I tend to suggest to my clients that they really go down into detail, as in as so far as that they'll actually give a name to the persona. And once they've got that name, they can visualize in their mind. They know their age range, their job titles, their earning potential, their qualifications. Are they on Threads? Are they on X? Are they on Blue Skies? Where are they sitting? Where are they getting their information from? What are the main issues that they face? And where do they sit in that decision making unit? Are they a user, a budget holder, technical advisor? Because everybody needs slightly different messages so that you can get your product in front of them and successfully ordered. So a lot of companies don't go into enough detail on building these ideal clients.
And it's
And
so important to understand the language they use as well, isn't it?
yeah,
Otherwise, you're talking to them in a language which they don't recognize. They don't recognize themselves in the way that the way that you are projecting to them.
yeah, and I've consistently said, even when I was working as an IT reseller back in the 1990s, I remember turning around to the MD and saying, look, I translate your technical speak into finance director speak. I make it more commercial. They understand it. Because if you just go off with your technical jargon, they switch off, you've lost the sale. Actually, work out how you're making their lives easier, how you're making their business more profitable. They're going to listen, they're going to invest. So, yeah, there's a lot of that translation needs to happen, especially in the technology sector, from bits and bytes into what that actually means. Nobody really cares if you've written the back end in C++ or Python or whatever. Yeah, they just want to know that it's gonna do the job that you say it's gonna do.
Yeah.
And so that's why you really need to know your ideal clients inside out.
And one of the things that you found that these business owners that you're speaking to, these founders, these excellent engineers that you come across that they try to do for themselves and have somehow failed to manage to make real until you come along and help them.
Yeah, yeah. I tend to find, because my background's really weird. Okay, my first degree is in German. That's an arty-farty subject, isn't it? My master's is in computing. It's like, okay, that's a sciencey person. And I tend to find that those that are the technical don't necessarily have the skill set to do the verbiage, to do that explanation, because they understand it inside out, but they don't know how to put that across, and that's a bit of an issue, and that's why they need somebody, or they're too up close to the what they're dealing with, that they forget to take the step back and see it from their customer's point of view, because they get so down in the dirt making sure that the tech's working, they forget to take that step back to work out how they're actually going to take this to market.
Brilliant. Catrina, I think you've got an offer that you've made available to people watching us that's going to help them with this this problem, and that's to understand who it is that they're trying to work with, and as you say, the incredible value behind actually understanding who it is you're talking to and what the solution that you have for them, so that you can explain it to them in their language, is the basis of all of marketing.
Yeah, yeah. And so the URL that's flying across the screen at the moment, people go there. That's a PDF downloadable workbook that actually takes people through step by step. Some bits are B2C related, some bits are B2B related. There is one page which is specifically for technology companies, but you do all the relevant sections for you, and so end up so that in your head, you'll know that you're actually marketing to Katie and Steve, but the other campaigns out there for Ricky and James or whatever. So it's there, free of charge. Go download it. What have you got to lose? It'll help you walk you through that process.
And I'll just give you the URL, which will be in the show notes for this podcast. But that's www.cutthrough, and that's CUTTHROUGH.marketing/ideal-customer-profile. So that's www.cutthrough.marketing ideal customer profile. Go download that, an excellent free resource which can help you to really get clarity on who it is you're trying to speak to, so that you can get your service or product in front of them. Catrina, I mean, is there a particular, I mean, you've given us a very interesting sort of background to your journey, to how you became this chartered marketer, but tell me, what is it? Is there a particular book or a particular course or something which took you from German student to science, computer science graduate, through to somebody that actually now helps organizations to do their marketing?
Well, there are a variety of people, and they tend to be the people that tell me something is not possible. So, for example, I wanted to study computing at school, and my headmaster, Mr. Haig, sat me down and told me that I couldn't study computing at school, and this is going to date me, because it was only available as a CSE, not an O level, and I needed to select another O level. And it was a subject for boys. He literally said that. We are talking in the mid 80s. I was the only girl in the computing club at the school, and I never got that out of my system. So when I graduated from my German degree, it was in that 1991, 1992 lovely recession, and there weren't a lot of graduate jobs around. So I was offered a conversion master's into computing, and I went and did it. But what I found was I really enjoyed computing. I really enjoyed what computing could do for us. I really hated the actual programming bit. It was just translating from English into computing speak. So that's why I went into the marketing side and used my computing knowledge. So I developed a CRM before CRM was a term that people had heard of for the first company I worked for. So that is, and I've had a variety of people through my life. I've had careers advisors at university tell me, you know what, Catrina, you should, women aren't, literally said to me, early 90s, women are not successful in business. Why don't you go into teaching? So when somebody tells me something is not possible, then I just go out to prove them wrong. And I really enjoy the work I do with marketing. It's translating from text speak into people speak. And it's actually helping the organizations I work with be successful, but also their clients be successful.
Fantastic. Catrina, you've given us a great insight into the importance of, well, I was going to say niching down, but that sounds like it's a bit of jargon. So I'm going to avoid saying that immediately, because I don't want people to think that we're sort of talking jargonization. That you've given an insight into the real foundations of how you make a difference. But there must be one question that I haven't asked, which you would have really liked me to have asked at this point. So is there something that you're saying to yourself at the moment internally? Gosh, I wish you'd get to the point, or I wish you'd get to this question so that I can answer it. And obviously, now that I've externalized that, you're now going to have to ask that question and then answer it for us, please.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of confusion about marketing. A lot of people think that marketing has to cost a lot of money. They equate marketing with advertising and promotional activity. But the answer is definitely not. Marketing doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. There's an awful lot that you can do with the various marketing P's, for a bit of jargon there, that doesn't cost any money. And getting those elements right, whether it's the people, the processes, the physical evidence, how you're going to market, which route you're going to market your product, and plan it. Okay, that's a P I tend to slip in these days. If you get all of those right, you don't need to spend as much money on promotional aspects. But all of that builds on the customer experience, and they don't cost any additional money. So I can give you one example of a client I work with, typical engineering company. They developed this software as a service. People were starting the purchase on their website, but they were dropping off before they got to the end of it. I took a very quick look at their process, and they got 14 steps. No buyer is going to go through 14 individual steps, and then just to buy the software. And then they'd got about 7 drop-off points. So I reworked their process, got rid of anything that really didn't need to be there, and automated as much as I could, so that we got down to a process of 5 steps. There were 2 drop-off points. The first one was the company name that was making the purchase. You can't get away from that. The second one was the credit card details or invoice number or purchase order number. And again, you can't get away from that. But me spending, and it literally was 10 minutes of my time, me spending that 10 minutes increased their order take. Didn't cost them any money. There was no great big Google Ads campaign out there. It just was what